Yeah, County Attorney's Office, Maricopa County. Sure. Detective there. And I just wanted to get you and your wife some paperwork in regard to, I guess, we want to have you guys come up to Idaho and testify, whatever information you have on that pending case. Okay. I assume you're familiar with what we're talking about. Well, yeah. The case we're talking about. Yeah. So I basically just have paperwork for you and then you as well. Sure. And there's a hearing if you wanted to go to a hearing to say why you shouldn't have to go to Idaho. Sure. So if you waive that hearing, if you're cooperative, you can go ahead and go back up there. I think they want you guys May 18th, I believe, is the date. Okay. Then you can waive that hearing and then just make arrangements with Idaho, the prosecutor up there. I'm sure they'll take care of the tribal arrangements, that type of thing. Sure. And then you guys can go up there and take care of it. Okay. Otherwise, so yeah, if you do want to waive that hearing, then you have the document for you to sign to waive the hearing, and then make a way to this right now. What you guys want to do?
Yeah, well, let's talk about. I don't know. Sorry, I gotta get my kids to school, so I just gotta get this thing.
So yeah. So this is documents for you. It's basically an order of original cause. That's the hearing. And then the subpoena is in there as well from Fremont County. Okay. As well. So that hearing date being the 12th, the 30 Maricopa County Courthouse downtown. If you guys are willing to waive that hearing and then make arrangements with the attorney for information that you're on that report. Just call her, Lindsay Blake. And then a lot of times they'll include. Yeah, no, I don't know. Okay. Well, she's one of the prosecutors anyway up there. Okay. So, if you guys want to waive that hearing on the 12th, and then stay arranged with her to go up to Idaho for that hearing on the 18th. Well, it's for that day, but it may take a couple of days, I'm not sure. Okay. Then you guys can sign that, and then that waives the hearing. Okay. So it's up to you guys.
I don't know. I make a decision.
I have to.
I don't know right now. We might have like a lawyer talk to who can help us know what to do. I'm kind of trying to get my kiddos to school sometime. I have to make a decision now.
So what happens is if you guys go, or if you want to say, I want to go up to Idaho and I want to go to a hearing with a judge here in Maricopa County, right? Then that's what that date is for on there, on this order of show cause, right? For the 12th, 8/3. Okay. And then you'll go to the court and tell them why you think you shouldn't have to go, and then
I'm just calling her.
And this is to testify.
It's for a grand jury. Okay. Grand jury process, so it's all sealed. Information, not specified in trial or anything like that.
Right, they're just general questions.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, they've been kind of jerking us around. They've been saying they want to come down and talk to us, and they want to come down and talk to us, and then they never show up. And, they never reach out. So they've reached out to our lawyer 3 or 4 times, and they just left us hanging. So this is really irritating.
Yeah, that's it. And then a lot of times with that judge, they say, okay, well, well, they want you up there.
Yeah, so we've got contact out front. This process now.
I don't know if y'all can hear me. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me as well. Can y'all hear me? I know, right, Cards and Cavaliers? It's time to appreciate us some Pawlowskis. I have not ever done this. So, you know what? Why not? I feel in the mood. All right, good. Thank you, Angela. Okay, so I just wanted to note right there where Ian, I don't know if y'all, were listening. But right, let's see. He's kind of feeding a lot of bull crap.
Right, they're just going to ask general questions basically. Yeah, I mean, they've been kind of jerking us around. They've been saying they want to come down and talk to us, and they want to come down and talk to us, and then they never show up. And, they never reach out. So they've reached out to our lawyer 3 or 4 times, and they just left us hanging.
So I find that interesting because, I've watched these time and time again, but these not as much as all the other ones. And in this one, like I just caught him saying that, we've reached out to basically the Idaho detectives a couple times. They don't ever call us back, but they have contacted our attorney. But yet, you'll see what he does in a little bit. He reaches out to his attorney. I just find that kind of, projection, like just pass the buck. Ooh, look at her. Wow. Don't look at her. Don't make direct eye contact.
That's it. And a lot of times those jokes I mean, they say,
Yeah, we've got
oh yeah, great.
We're still explaining the process to him at this point. She's gonna start looking the kids up in the car.
He's calling his attorney.
Hey, so we're being subpoenaed right now.
Duh.
Go and sit in front of a grand jury and share some information for Fremont County.
We're gonna go share some information. Like they're not part of it. Allegedly. Right? Right, KJ?
Oh, I didn't know if I was on or not. I sit here listening to him trying to figure out if he's
He
even
don't
got a
know.
brain cell in his head at this moment. It's more like shell shock,
Yeah, he don't know whether to wait, I'm gonna mess it up. Wind his butt or scratch his hand. And scratch his
Right.
wrist, whatever.
I
Anyway.
can't help but I just have to say this. It's one thing to, you're 4 days into meeting somebody and then you marry them all of a sudden and they're talking all this jazz and you run off to Vegas and all this and that. But, according to his document, I mean, this guy was falling fast and hard for old Melani, wasn't he?
Oh, felony Melanie. Oh yeah. And yeah, he got knocked upside the head and then she got knocked up. The rest is history, nothing but anniversaries.
I mean, yeah, can you imagine? I've known my husband for over 14 years. We've been married 13 years. And if like we met each other and just like in a couple of days during that time, I was sharing all this weird Harry Potter living up, all this other wizards and all this stuff.
Boogity.
I mean, how in the world could I get him to the altar? You know what I'm saying? He'd probably be like, you know what? We need to call somebody from Bellevue to come pick your ass up.
Yeah, while we're over here close to community bridges. Anyway, I know, right? They are a hot mess. They are more than that, but I can't say these things on YouTube.
Well, what I don't understand is he says, because I've been looking through this document and we've went over it. All of us have talked about it, but
it's always good to go back.
Yeah, in the document, he says, she told me she had learned some of these things in the temple and others from Chad and Lori. Now, does this guy not have any background in religion at all? I mean, if he's LDS, then, she learned some of it in the temple and some from Chad and Lori. I mean, what religion is this guy?
Right. That is interesting.
I mean, wouldn't he know what is taught in the temple?
Right. I know I've been told time and time again, and I'll be told time and time again from here on out that, and I'm not trying to go there, but I've been told, and everybody has seen it, that the church does not teach. The church does not teach it. The church don't teach it.
Well, don't you know that when she did her 12 News in Arizona interview, she says, quote, my beliefs are consistent with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of, see, I never really just picked through that.
Yeah. And, in her interview, she also talks about her and Ian are going to one day, they're going to be sealed in the temple when her kids can be there.
Mm-hmm. So apparently allegedly to join Chad and Lori's friend circle. It seems that's the pattern, right? You see the couples, it has to be couples, and just about every one of them have recently been married, divorced, left their kids. It just, you got David Warwick used to be married to a woman named, I think her name was Jackie. They divorced, and then at the same time, Melanie Gibb she was married to Brendan, which is like Brandon, right? We got that all confused, and she divorced him, and her and David wore, you know my pet name around. Anyways, her and David Warwick got together, and then Sean Little Bear and Janelle Little Bear, they got together. Then I'm drawing a blank. I know I'm not running out because there's plenty more. There's Chad and Lori, there's Alex and Zalema, but that's kind of her thing. She likes to get married. She likes the new car smell.
Yeah, let me ask this, because I don't know a lot about this. Once you've been married, like say for the first time, and you get a divorce, can you go get sealed in the temple? Like if you remarry? I mean, I just don't know. I mean, is you can? Okay. I mean, I know people make mistakes. I get it. I just was curious because down to the bare bones of it, you're correct. I mean, it just seemed like so many.
It just seemed like it needed to be legal and not. And that kind of, now that I say that, that brings this up. It had to be more of a legal thing versus
spiritual,
right?
Well,
it really
you can't get life insurance with spiritual,
right? Right. That's where it just ding, y'all. I had a light bulb above my head.
Hey, Big E wants to know if there's temples in prison.
Yeah, that's a good question. If not, I mean, they don't have any closets.
Well, let me tell you something. When I look at what is your overall impression when if you can recall, when you first read Ian's document?
Oh, I thought there was another part. That's when I first heard zombies, right?
Really?
I really think that was the first time I heard the term zombies. And I remember just being stunned, shocked. Like, what? I sound like my mom when I do that. What? What? And you're just like, what? I swear, you can still say it so many times.
Well, I mean, the comments.
I looked at Jason. I remember turning and looking at him and saying, "This just turned into a freaking sci-fi." Like I don't. It was just unimaginable. The cult thing was already blowing my mind. That's when I made that snide comment, that ignorant comment to Larry, where I was like, "Well, Charles Manson, he didn't kill anybody," and he looked at me like, "Are you freaking crazy?" And it turns out I had to do a little research, and educate myself. And this is real big. It's a real big thing all over since the beginning of time.
Common sense says, I mean, first of all, we know Ian recorded a lot. We don't know what that is. So he couldn't have just made this up. Okay. This is stuff that you just don't create this stuff out of thin air. This wasn't Ian's idea to write this stuff down.
Yeah. He didn't just do a what do you call it? Summary or,
an outline.
Can you imagine just meeting somebody and being like, "Oh, hold on, I gotta wear this wire. Hope you don't fill me up. Hope there's no soaking involved or no marinating."
Yeah, well, when it was brought up
electrocute him.
Yeah, when it was brought up about with Nate Eaton's interview and this 12 News interview, when they asked about him doing that, his excuse was he wrote this document to give to her attorneys to help her. There ain't nothing in it that helps her at all.
No. Unless what the hell? What does he know? If this helps her, what the hell buries her? Holy crap. I mean,
That's right. I mean, he knows that the FBI has those recordings. So whatever he said in the public in these interviews, it has to be somewhat along them lines. He can't just totally say something different than what he said
right.
in that document or in those recordings.
That's what the FBI, that's the big boys. That's not, you know, I mean, just anything. It should be under oath. It should be, I'm going to tell the truth. You would think the FBI and just law enforcement, period, being involved. Your cousins are missing. Everybody's freaking dying. And I don't know. I don't even know what I did the next day after Brendan was shot at. You know,
Right.
it's
Well,
like she
yeah.
actually looks like, to me, when she says stuff like that, it looks like Melani Pawlowski when she says, you know, I heard Brandon Boudreaux. I like how she does that too. Brandon Boudreaux um, alleges that he was shot at, and I haven't seen any proof. It's like she was fishing. You know, if I had to say anything about the body language or her comments with the body language, that's how I match that up. You know, not here, but you know, when they ask her on that what news station was that? 12, you said?
Yeah, 12 News in Arizona, and Nate Eaton interviewed her. She did
Yeah.
2 interviews back to back.
Right. And then she also did the 2020 with her and Janet. They all coordinated with
Oh yeah,
their peachy pink color.
that's
And
right.
then Summy and Mummy, you know, they matched also.
Yeah, do you think she's still in contact with the Cox family? Do you think she's still right there with them,
Oh
Summer
yeah.
and Janice? And
Oh yeah. Thick as thieves. Birds of a feather flock together. Have no fear. Abby Normal. I like that. Abby Normal. But did all these couples intermingle or just switch off? Well, I think that was, I mean, I've heard this, so I don't know for sure. So it's hearsay. And allegedly that Hector Sosa was really big into he was like, somebody had wrote about him from one of these forums or whatever, and they said that he was a real creeper. They said creeper. I can quote that. And that he was really all about these ideas of, you know, going and visiting everybody's tents, you know, different tents.
swingers,
Yeah.
swingers in the religious realm, huh?
Right. You got to keep them separated. No, I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm being silly, but
But
go ahead.
well, Melanie P, you know, when she did, I can't help but bring this up because I know all of y'all probably already know this anyway, but when you look at it in context now, it's kind of weird to me, and it just speaks volumes when she actually says to this 12 News reporter, she says that she looks up to Lori, admires her, and that Lori is drama free. She's very generous, just a light to be around. Lori has a way of making light of heavy situations. Does that mean that when Lori and Chad was teaching her that Lori's children were zombies, that she can make light of heavy situations? Give me a break.
Exactly. None of these people believe anything that they're spewing from their mouths. They don't know what they believe in. I mean, that's my opinion. That is my solid answer. Because there's it's scary. I'll tell you that. That's freaking scary.
Yeah,
And
what's
you
freaking
know that
scary?
maybe your child is maybe even deemed dark, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, she's
and you're
telling
sitting
Ian
there
on her
trying to break
honeymoon
it.
night. On her
Yeah.
honeymoon night. I mean,
Hey,
who
babe.
gets in the mood? Who gets in the mood to have sex on their honeymoon night when she's talking about she feared for the lives of her children? And that was in Ian's document, and I believe it. It's disgusting. It's just disgusting.
Yeah. I'm kind of confused by this one. Let me make sure I read it into context. Now, do you believe it's the mental illness before the Chad? It was Lori already thinking unless that's okay. They commented underneath it. The fact, I don't know. Lori already thinking money bags when she met your uncle, or do you think she just used her broken brain and left your uncle after? I have no, I mean, there's no way for me to really know that. I mean, I think I mean, I didn't know it then, but I mean, of course, hindsight is 2020. We say that a lot, everybody, following this case. And it is just that. I mean, knowing and seeing all the documents that came out about Joe and all this and the triangulation and the parental alienation and all that. Oh my God. And Lori never being held accountable by anybody, the courts, my uncle even, you know what I mean? Like he let her rip, tater chip. Just saying it's not funny. It's just, it is what it is. He was hoping that it would just work itself out. I really don't know. That's just how I feel.
Well,
Um,
I really kind of I kind of go along with what Jen was saying. With True Crime Unveiled, she talked about in her last live stream. She said that Lori was already before
mhm.
meeting Chad, and I had said that myself. But Jen, she kind of summed it up and said it was about Lori was already a broken whatever it was. She already
Mhm.
had her issues before meeting Chad. So this whole idea that Chad was the one that led her astray is a crock to me.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, I mean, that's just going to be any man that she is going after. That any man she goes after is that's her next ex. Yeah, that is legit. um, I mean, she married straight out of high school in kind of rebellion. Um, just I guess I would think dying to get out of the house. Um, but then it's like she became her own control freak, and um, she just, anyways, I mean, she can't sit there and never, the pattern of her never inviting her family to her weddings, but then yet Janice says, we didn't like Nelson, her first husband. I don't think he was LDS. It seems like that's when Lori kind of had doubts. I really wish he would come forward, you know, and
Wonder
just
where
give us
he's at. Wonder where he's at. Wonder why,
he's
he
smart.
probably is just trying to run from all of it. You
He
think?
is smart. He is very smart.
Speaking of running from, when the children were found, that would have been the opportune time for Melanie P to step up and say, you know what? This
Mhm.
is what I know. And she could have done it in her interviews with Nate Eaton and 12 News there. She shouldn't have done that. She should have immediately went to law enforcement and said what Ian said in his document. It proves to me everything I need to know.
Exactly. Exactly. They follow it up by actions. It's totally opposite of what they're saying. They're saying one thing and their actions are completely opposite. And then a lot of times they're the way they use their word, it's like they're wordsmiths or something. They are very careful. It's like and I don't think they do it on purpose. That's the weird thing, right?
Oh,
So,
I think they do. I think she knew, and it had nothing to do with being exposed with the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. We're talking about children here. We're
right.
talking about
Above
just common
anything,
decency.
human life, your own children, possibly. You say have these feelings for, or you know what I mean. She's didn't like come out and say she hated her ex, but she definitely, in her vision or whatever that she had of Brandon, her, I guess I'll call it a gaydar. It went to G, and that's how she knew and determined and discerned for herself that Brandon was attracted to the opposite sex. That is mucked up. And that's why, he got awarded $12 million.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? I am convinced that Lori did this, kind of seduced her into this, giving her a way out. I don't think Melanie P was happy in her marriage because her
Mm-mm.
father said that he went over there one time and the place was unkempt and all
Mhm.
of this and that. And I think she just wasn't satisfied.
Oh,
And if she could find a way to, to get, and Lori was the perfect, she saw Lori and saw Lori just so hoppity,
yep.
carefree, because you know what I'm saying? And she wanted
Lori
what
had that.
Lori had.
Lori had that personality too. I mean, she really, when Lori talks to you and you're conversing with her, she engages with you. She's engaged. She's in it, and I guess that's really what I mean, it threw me off, you know. Again, I never really spent time with her by myself. Um, so it was always around my family. It was always, I got to see my nephew at that time. So I was just like, move, bitch, get out the way. let me hold my nephew, And I don't know that. And she was always she was always bouncing off the damn walls. That's for sure. That
Yeah,
woman,
well, for Melanie P to say Lori has a way of making light of heavy situations and is just a light to be around and she's drama free.
that's a true
That
statement.
I mean, you gotta wonder. You gotta know that Melanie P and Ian and everyone else, Zulema, David Warwick, Melanie Gibb, all of them watched Lori at her last hearing. I mean, can these people not see that they are just as much a part of this as Lori sitting in that damn seat with that ponytail in her head?
I know. As much as they have done the backstroke, there's nothing that can. Okay, I want to ask this. I mean, other than that, nothing can convince me otherwise. I feel and have always felt that Melanie, well, her too, um, the males from hell, they're in it. They are in it up to their freaking eyeballs. Um, one thing that just brought something up for me. And it's something that, it's kind of a rhetorical question. So just y'all think about it and, kind of let me know what y'all think. I remember whenever Melanie Gibb was talking to Rexburg detectives, I think, and or no, I don't know, whatever. Whenever she talked about Lori cutting her hair, and I mean, first off, there's 2 bathrooms in the whole damn townhouse. Okay, there's upstairs and there's downstairs. There's not many places you can go, Mel. And she said that Lori wasn't much of a cooker. And I remember her saying something about pizza boxes. I don't know where. I don't know if I read it in the docs or if she said it in that. So I kind of need some help on that. And it made me wonder, how they can find contents and people's they would find the pizza contents in JJ's stomach is basically what I'm getting at.
Well,
It's just something that,
Melanie was saying that in the second interview, and you're 100% correct. She did. She talked about that, how she didn't know exactly because she might have been upstairs. She talked about Lori cutting her hair, and then she went into how David Warwood likes her hair longer and all this. I mean, anything to sidetrack the issue.
right. It's like when somebody asks me a question, but I don't do it on purpose. I just have ADHD like a mofo. It's like I try. Oh, it just gets it's so overwhelming. It really is
Which brings
overwhelming.
up another thing. If the pizza was did somebody go out and get the pizza? If in fact that's really what there was pizza boxes, or
Right.
was there a delivery made? And is there a pizza guy or whatever that delivered the pizza there the night
Yeah.
before or whatever?
Or whenever. Yeah. Or did they get hungry during their podcasting? We'll just call it podcasting. Wink, wink. That's so gross. But I went to just me and mom. When we went to Rexburg, we went to that, I forget the name of the place, but everybody goes to that pizza place in Rexburg. So, I mean, yeah, you're right. That's just one of those things. When I was watching the John Benet Ramsey thing and, just about the pineapple and maybe in her stuff, stuff like that. I don't really know it verbatim, but it brought that into my mind. I was like, oh yeah, we will not be able to know that with Tylee.
Yeah,
know.
KDH, Alex could have picked up the pizza. He was so quick to run out and get Zulema some chips and salsa. She has to have her chips and salsa.
And right, and he really like it worked. He oh my god, I'm stuttering. I'm like a breaker, breaker, breaker. Sound like a damn banjo. But like Alex, he went to Del Taco. I mean, he works up a freaking hunger. Who? Oh my god, you've got to be. Never mind. Look at who we're talking about. But you know what I'm saying. I wouldn't be able to live with myself ever, ever. Like I would not forgive myself if I wouldn't even forgive myself for thinking it, much less doing it. And for him to go to Del Taco afterwards, I mean, wow,
Well,
wow.
just
Did
because
he pick
Lori's
something up for
cell phone,
Lori?
yeah, just because Lori's cell phone wasn't there doesn't mean she wasn't sitting in the booth eating at Del Taco with him for all I care.
Right. You're right. Exactly. Um,
That's the big question, Crusha. If they're talking about GPS, and I said this in my
mhm.
last live stream, and they're talking about Chad's phone and Alex's phone, and there's nothing in there about Lori's, the question really is what the hell is on that woman's phone?
Which one? You know? I mean, we heard that she had burner phones. Not, I mean, Tylee or Melanie states that, or Melanie Gibb, I'm sorry. Melanie Gibb states that Tylee, was it Melanie Gibb or was it April? God dang, see? 3 years, y'all. And I'm starting to freaking forget stuff. um, I forget which one. But anyway, she made a comment and that's when Tylee told Lori, Mom, you look like a drug dealer, you know, because she had her 3 phones that was over there in Hawaii. And that's just it's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah,
It's my
yeah.
favorite.
Well, Melanie Gibb don't know what a burner phone is. Give me a break.
Right.
Everybody knows what that term means. Everybody
My
does.
grandma knows what that means. Anyways, yeah, it's nuts. So that and you got to think about like Tammy, you know, I know we're going very off subject here and I'm sorry. That's what I do. So Tammy was training for that marathon, you know. I even ran across a screenshot the other day of a transaction from Tammy to, I guess, I would say her friend, you know, paying, I guess, money for her to participate. I would think because that was in the little notes. It was a Venmo transaction, and it was like the day before, or it was within days of her um, being murdered. And she was training. So was Tammy wearing a Fitbit? Was Lori wearing a Fitbit? Because, you know, she liked to work out. She's good at working that body.
Well,
Um,
speaking of Tammy, I've been working on some things too. And the day after, okay, now just listen to me. The day after Tammy died. Now, on the day that Tammy died, Lori was supposed to be in Hawaii, right? But the Chandler dump says, this is coming from the Chandler dump. The day after Tammy died, investigators say Lori booked a flight. Did she book a flight from Hawaii? No, from Phoenix to Idaho. Now, why aren't they listing that she booked a flight from Hawaii to Phoenix to Idaho? Because she was never in Hawaii the day that Tammy died.
I agree. I think she was in Missouri, right?
It's 6 a.m. I'm in
Right. Who
Hawaii.
does
Give me
that? You just text me or you just called me. Who the hell don't have their damn time on their phone? Hey, I just got to tell you it's 6 a.m. Here. Well, I don't know. Whatever fits my need whenever I need to say it. You know? So yeah, I caught that too.
Yeah, and then how Zaluma said, "Well, I just figured she was in somewhere cold because they said she got her car stuck, and I just assumed it meant snow." Woman, they have been telling you whatever they want to tell you, and whether I mean I don't know if they pulled the wool over Zaluma's eyes or whether she was just talking crap to get herself out of trouble, but. It seems Chad and Lori didn't want to tell nobody where they were at any time. And that sends up red flags. If you're not doing anything wrong, and of course hindsight's 2020, but
Right.
these people are ignoramuses.
No, yeah, they're evil. They are doing this on purpose and trying to, pull the wool over everybody's eyes, or 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 they believe their lies so much that, you know, there's those people who believe their lies. I watched Dr. Phil old episode or whatever, and these women actually thought they were pregnant, even though he confronted them with all the tests and you know, and oh my God, I was like, whoa, now this is wow. I mean, I understand these things do occur, but it's to the extremes. It seems like anything in extreme, whether it be, you know, you can, in Adam Cox's case, you know, where he was the DJ and they had a Wii contest, Wii for a Wii. And the woman, you know, they had to drink a bunch of fluid, I guess, or water. I don't know. Um, and the contest was to see how much Wii you could hold in for a Wii gaming station. And so the woman ended up ODing on water. So, I mean, anything you do in excess, work, knit, think, you know, I'm sure it'd drive you to an early grave. Anything in excess, it's just not good.
Right.
To the extremes, you know. So I think we should all kind of learn from that.
Tracy Crin says, how dare they look annoyed by the fact that they were being subpoenaed? The children were her family, and she has no feelings about that.
Okay, so wait, what? I'm sorry.
Tracy Crin says, how dare they look annoyed, and talking about Ian and Melanie.
Oh, I know.
The fact that they were being subpoenaed. I mean, you would think that she'd be running to the police saying, you know, whatever I can do, this is terrible. You know, I can't believe that, you know, my aunt, who I think is, you know, is a light to the world, basically, could do something like this. But yet she is so just inconvenienced that she's subpoenaed. And we don't know what I mean, she could have been, she was there at the grand jury, whether she was a hostile witness or not. She had to testify to something. Crusher, do you think Melanie P. will testify for the state in the trial?
Nope. I don't think so. She, where I have it right here or in my little paperwork. But no, my gut feeling is that, and it's quoted by Ian. La, la, la. Y'all, I'm sorry. I didn't really prepare. You know, y'all are used to this. But I mean, we're talking stuff that we all know. You know, every one of us here has followed this, and we all know these details. And
Well,
I just feel like it needs to be talked about.
Yeah, we know that Zulema was offered use immunity and got use immunity. Why ain't we heard anything about Melanie P. getting use immunity? Because I think you're right, Crush. I think she's trying to protect her aunt.
Yeah.
She's still in with the Cox family, I think.
I mean, if you have that quote, KJ, I don't know it verbatim, but basically Ian quoted Melanie, his wife, his new bride, of saying that she would go to jail.
Yeah, she said she would rather die or go to prison instead of turn on her Aunt Lori. That's exactly what she said. And you know, let's just get real here. I mean, people are dead, people are murdered, good people, children.
Yeah.
And she would rather do this than stand up for what's right. I mean,
there you go.
Let me tell you something. If I got involved in something and it turned out the people, you know, misled me or something, I'd be just so upset, and I would be doing everything in my power to make things right. And it doesn't seem like that's what she wants to do. And I'll tell you why. Because Ian's got recordings of her talking her crazy ass stuff, and he can try to walk it back all he wants. But the bottom line is she is busted. She is busted.
Never to be trusted. Ever. And I mean, you're right. I mean, what you're doing right here, and you know, us discussing this, it pokes holes in anything that could resemble any kind of integrity or, you know, doing the right thing. Anything. It's so weird. It's so freaking weird. I don't understand it, and I don't think none of us do, and that's why we're just like, what?
Yeah, crocheting Bambi says that both males need to be in prison, basically. But
not
she
in
also says,
one.
hardly 62. I really miss doing it. But to Cresha's point, too much of a good thing can be dangerous. So I guess we're getting a little mixed up on that. But she did say that both males need to go to prison. And we've all been saying this. And it's so frustrating when
Mhm.
you think about what they all actually knew. And
Yeah.
you know what? I was willing to give Ian the benefit of the doubt. When I first opened that channel, I said, Ian is the key, and he still is the key. He's the key to bringing all this
I'm
down,
sure.
because once you make recordings for the FBI, there ain't no walking it back.
Cards and Cavaliers said the same thing earlier. I'd posted it on, I displayed it, her comment, and she said he's the key also, and y'all are right. Y'all are so right. But a lot of people have compassion for Ian, and I met Natalie Pawlowski. I hung out with her. She's a cool, laid back, down to earth chick. And I think, I mean, I can't talk. I know that much. But I mean, I didn't, I'm not in their marriage. I'm not in anybody's marriage. So I can't say, yeah, you should have stayed with them. But I think it'd have been cheaper to keep her. Just saying. Might cost him his life, or his baby's life, or his children. They're him and Melanie's children.
Yeah,
I mean,
but this goes back.
Natalie's children.
Yeah,
Sorry.
this goes back though, Krisha, and I get it. I mean, you're a super compassionate person, and you got your heart as big as gold. But Anne was hearing her talk this crap about her own children, about JJ and Tylee, about the attempt on Brandon's life, and where is he?
They
I
have all
mean,
this
this was
faith in
before
each
he
other.
made the recordings. This was before he made the recordings. And
Oh,
that just speaks volumes to me. I'm not saying Ian is nefarious and evil. I'm just saying the guy was either hard up or just really wanted to do a role playing game with Melanie P. I mean, that's the only thing I can come up with.
right. If they put in as much faith, like just you saying that about, Ian listening to all that, and they just met, I mean, you'd have seen nothing but my tail and my elbows, okay? I'd have been running. And I've ran away for much less than that. I'm like,
Was Ian a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Was he?
I don't know if he was active or not. I really don't know that answer. But going back to what what you had brought up, and it makes you think, if these couples, these newlywed couples who just divorced everybody, and either they murdered them, attempted to murder them, allegedly, they had all these elaborate plans. If they took that energy and that faith that they have in their new spouse, like what Ian has with Melanie Pawlowski, I mean, you would think that their marriage to their last spouse would work, I'm just saying that all this energy, you got these housewives, and I mean, housewives, we got it hard, we do just as much work, but that's normal. That's the normal peeps. It's like they were too bored, too much idle time on their hands. They were looking for more. They weren't feeling appreciated, and they didn't have a say so, in their culture. So I mean, geez, can we just, let's try and fix that.
Yeah. Alpha Femme X-Teen and Big E talk about, wasn't the site they met on LDS site. Alpha Femme X-Teen says, was it Christian or LDS? The bottom line is can you see Melanie P going on a dating site that's not LDS? I mean, could
Right.
she have been that hard up?
And so, y'all, this is where this comes in for me. And it's not really going to make sense for everybody, but this is what I have come to learn, or I'm learning, and I'm still learning. But the like-minded people, that is a code phrase. It's code talk. Just like Jen said on True Crime Unveiled, she talked about that's their thing. That's their thing. Like-minded people. Okay, you were sent here to the temple to meet you, and oh, you're what we call a gatherer. what we in the know, when he says in the know, and me studying Mike Stroud's uh whatever podcast, his teachings, I mean, I go line upon line and precept upon precept, and I read it and I'm like, wow, wow. Here is the means, here's the method, like here's what they used in order to, I don't know how that goes, but it's like the what is it, to the killing or whatever, is it this is the reason why, this is what they used, and I don't know the terminology right
The
offhand.
method, the way to do it, or
Something like that, you know. That's not the reason. The reason was for money, but the method in which they used as a cover or whatever to justify, to, and I mean, I'm air quoting big time over here, my fingers hurt, and nothing justifies it, nothing it doesn't make it right, you know, which that's a rhetorical answer. So
oh, here's an interesting question. D. Hutchinson says, does anyone know, did Lori attend the same temple in Idaho with Tammy and Chad since they lived less than 3 minutes apart? Did she go to church with them? That's interesting.
I don't know, but I sure wouldn't put it past that wench. I feel like I've heard that she, and I don't know. I have not asked anybody either. So if anybody does know, you know, please let me
Big
know.
E says unknown.
That I had heard, and this is hearsay, and so don't repeat it. You know, just I heard this somewhere, that Lori did show up to Tammy's wake or whatever in Rexburg, not the one in Utah, but, and when I heard that, I was like, no way, no freaking way.
Yeah, well, let's keep in mind Tina Reddington brings it down to earth. She says the temple and church are two different things.
True that. So that makes me okay with Tina. You know how they take everything literal, right? Everything. That's what I've come to learn. It's very literal, and it's not nothing. It's not good. It's not bad. I've just noticed that. Um, you know, people with autism have. If you say, "Hey, it's raining cats and dogs outside," they can take that to mean that it's really raining cats and dogs. I mean, this. So I'm just saying, when you teach a literal gathering of, you know, Jerusalem, New Jerusalem, and all this stuff. I mean, for somebody whose brain works that way, that's not healthy, you know? I mean, if you don't have a strong, or, you know, if this happens upon somebody with not so sound mind, not so strong mind, or with that critical thinking, I'm sorry, then it's just a breeding ground to me, in my opinion. And I mean, I don't want anybody else to hurt. So please understand that I'm not at all attacking. I'm not. But Tina, so could, you know how I said earlier, people have said over and over and over again, that the church does not teach this. Does that mean the temple does? I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a very thin line. And some people are really verbatim. And so I want to know your take on that, Tina, please.
Yeah, well, Left Undone says schizophrenics take things literally as well. I don't know if Lori's schizophrenic, but she sure is evil.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. If she is, then I mean, that's interesting. That's something that's one area I never did, you know, really research into. I did with the narcissistic stuff, but I never really did my homework on the schizophrenia part.
Yeah, well, Bo Peep says, I would not be surprised if Lori was sinister enough to go to the same church. Bo Peep, I don't know if you've ever watched the Jodi Arias trial, but she showed up to Travis Alexandra's wake or whatever and signed the book and sent pictures in and everything. It sent flowers to his grandmother that he loved dearly. I mean, we're talking some sick and twisted people here.
That's true. That's true. And I respect you, Tina. You know, I get it. I just didn't, some of these people really do think this or in the world, period. End of story, But I wonder if that's a way where they're, you know, kind of say one thing and it's really the truth. I don't know. I don't know. But I appreciate that.
Big E says, if you remember, Lori tells Alex, let's meet Chad at the temple or celestial room. I forget exact verbiage.
Um, terrestrial. Terrestrial church.
No, it's
Would you say it?
celestial.
No.
Celestial
I
room.
mean, but it's no. I'm just trying to let him know, Eric, know that it's right after the egg conversation. Which I don't know. I don't even know if that means anything now. I've beat that up. I don't know. We'll see. We'll know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Lori needs a dozen eggs, a bottle of milk, and a stick of butter.
I mean, what if she really did cook breakfast? Is what I'm saying.
I need some eggs, Alex. Will you scramble them up for me, or maybe over easy? Make me a ham and cheese omelet.
Yeah. No, I know what Eric is saying though. He was talking about. I guess this is what I'm taking. Eric, correct me if I'm wrong. It was after the egg exchange. Lori texts Alex, and she was waiting on. She said Melanie and David Warwick were still sleeping in one room, one bedroom on the floor, I guess. And then there's text exchanges, and he's getting Alex is getting a ceiling from what's her face, some girl. Oh my God, her name is starts with a C, Clarissa, which is the same name as the funeral people that talked to Chad. Because that name, that Charissa or whatever, that's my cousin's name, and it's not very, too common. And so that blows my mind. I don't sit there and think about like what are they referring to? Because it's code. What the hell would Alex be doing getting a sealing, SEALING, when he's not even or you know what I mean, back in the good graces of the church? He's been excommunicated twice at that point. So he's over there and they're talking about meet me at the terrestrial church. Terrestrial is not this level. Celestial is basically the lowest tier, the lowest, it's the bottom. There's 3 levels of heaven. There would be your celestial, which is the bottom, kind of like what's now, kind of like how we live now. And then there's terrestrial. So that's the middle tier, I would say, of heaven. And then celestial is where you want to go. That's the highest tier to go to. You can minister to all. Oh my God, I've done so much into this. I sound like a nerd. But you can like minister to everybody once you're in the celestial kingdom. It's different. It's interesting though. I find it fascinating. I really do.
Yeah, well, I've learned a lot about, there's a difference between the temple and the church. The question really is will Melanie P and Ian go and get sealed in the temple and have her kids there? Have they already done that? Are they going to do that? Wonder if that's going to happen.
Right. I just, either way, these people are freaking, and it's so easy to just be like, okay, yep, they're evil, they're scumbags, and then just walk away. I mean, we'd be like, on to so many more bigger and better things. And yet here we are. It's like we just felt we refused to give up. And so we're here. Y'all do this with me all the, every week and every time I come on here, and y'all are here for answers and for, for justice through understanding. And that is the most true at first when KJ started saying, justice through understanding, I was like, yeah, okay, but then it grew on me and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what the hell this is.
Yeah, well, if you think in your opinion that Melanie P would not testify in the upcoming trial, do you believe Ian will testify in the upcoming trial.
Now, are you asking if they will do it voluntarily? Well, why would they? Didn't they serve on the grand jury? Do they
Well,
have to testify?
yeah. Well, you think about the grand jury list. There were all kinds of people that were on that grand jury list that testified in Chad's preliminary hearing. Are we saying that because they were at the grand jury or Chad's preliminary hearing that they wouldn't be in the trial? Because Rob Wood, he only gave a sliver of enough evidence to bind it over to trial. So just because they were grand jury, they testified at the grand jury that got the indictment on murder doesn't mean they couldn't testify in the trial.
Right. Yeah.
So the question is would Ian testify? And maybe,
I think it would behoove him.
I mean, Melani P, she could very well testify. I'm not saying she would be a good witness for the state, like Miss Roll Over and Act Like an Idiot Melanie Gibb, but I mean, the bottom line is she knows they've got those conversations recorded, so she couldn't sit there and lie on the stand.
Right. Oh, well, they can do anything. Remember Harry Potter? If you can imagine it, then it's real. Okay. That's me being a smartass. But one would think, but that's not exactly what happens. I don't know how to turn that sound off.
And then you think about this: who would the defense call? I mean, would the defense, John Pryor or this Thomas and Archibald fellow, would they say we're gonna subpoena Melanie P and Ian, and Melanie P come in there and, oh, my Aunt Lori's the best. She's a light to the world. She would never hurt her children. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. I you know what? And I get to see them. I get to I don't think about those things because it's just a lot. It's too much to even think about. But it just dawned on me, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I need some bail money.
Yeah, well, here's something. Remember when when Larry and Kay did that documentary and Brandon came, there, and they couldn't go to identify JJ, and Brandon ID'd the body through a photo.
Yeah.
Now, he was not called to Chad's preliminary hearing. Hermosillo was able to do that, but I'm just curious if the state is going to have Brandon testify in the trial.
That would be freaking interesting. Don't y'all think? What do y'all think? And let me get down to the bottom of the comments there so I can actually see what y'all think. Chad called Harry Potter's parents the Dudleys, and they're actually the Dursleys. And I've never watched the movie, and he made it to where I really don't ever want to watch it now. I mean, only because it represents so much death and in my family, it's a lot of pain, and but it can't ruin everything.
Yeah, Maryland pastor says, I think Brandon will testify.
Wow.
Marilyn,
Okay.
can you tell us what you think he might testify to? I mean, maybe briefly give us some testimony you think would be good for the state to prove criminal intent with Chad and Lori.
Right. Allison Umpleby also says Brandon has credibility. That he does. Brandon will testify. Amanda Metters. You live in Dursley. What? Hello. Okay. Well, welcome. And I saw somebody say that this was the best chat ever. So thank you for that. We agree. This community is built by basically the memories of Charles, Tylee, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. I kind of meshed those together on accident, but
and love always wins, doesn't it?
Love always wins. It has to. It freaking has to. I don't know. That's the most positive way. It's. I hear it a lot of places now. That love is what wins. Or love is what matters. It really does. Pamela Dimer, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. It says she says, I think Mel P needs to testify and tell the truth, well, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I think she made a deal with her ex Brandon for the children to stay in her life. She needs to snap out of it, right? I'll snap her out of it.
Maryland pastor, she says the trial is 8 to 10 weeks. There will be a long list. And again, this goes back. Melanie P., Ian, Brandon, what their testimony would consist of. Would Summer, would Janice, would any of the Cox family, Adam, would any of them be a witness for the state?
Summer needs to be. She wanted to be, right? Didn't Summer? Okay, like whenever they were trying to disqualify Rob Wood, and me and Mom were in Rexburg, and we were trying to listen to it as best we could on our way back to Salt Lake City to catch a plane back home. And I remember like Summer basically dissing Garrett Smith, I think. I'm pretty sure. And the defense, objected to her talking, right?
Wow, that's interesting. It really is.
So that right there would tell you, if she was willing. I mean, if that is the case, if I remember that correctly, I know I don't word it very good, but you know what I'm saying. It already shows that she would have done it. I mean, if again, it would behoove her. I hate that word, but you would think because she's in the text saying that she would kill, and this has nothing to do with my uncle, this trial, but she's sitting there saying Edgar wouldn't miss and do I need to go kill him myself? Things like that, burn her at the stake.
Yeah, well, I kind of sign on to what Jim Marr says. At this point, can any of them tell the truth? If it is it even possible? And this goes back to everyone talking about, is Chad going to throw Lori under the bus? Is Lori going to throw Chad under the bus? Is Zulema going to testify? Blah, this, what witnesses and all this and that. If they were in this immediate situation, especially Melanie Gibb and David Warwick, I mean, who in the hell's going to believe a word any of these people say anyway? I mean, I don't.
I said that the moment I saw Lori come into that courtroom in Rexburg in front of my parents, in front of the world, and in front of her son, in front of my cousins, who she texted them and told them they're dead. Their dad was dead. I mean, this has some gall, and that right there, I knew at that very moment, not that I wanted to before that, but that just, it came into my head, in that moment. I was like, if she ever said anything, I don't want to hear it. She might as well shut up, because nothing she says would, I don't believe it. So I don't believe anything that these people have said. None of them have come forward on their own merit to do good. It's just to save their asses.
Yeah, they've had to pull any and all information out of these people. Melanie Gibbs, Zulema, any of these people, they the only way that they will even tell them the truth is when the police say, well, in this text message, see right here, we've got evidence of this, Phoebe. Melanie Gibb would have never said she was Lori's daughter in a different life unless the police.
You called her mom, y'all. I laughed because that is some sick. That's so sick. It's funny. It's just like, called you out. I mean, they're so twisted. But yeah, they go on fishing expeditions basically to see what they have, see what the detectives have, so I can see what I'm going to say and push my boundaries, and only tell them exactly what I have to tell them. But Melanie is the first person, Melanie Gibb is the first person and the only person I've really observed who is, cool with throwing everybody under the damn bus, except herself. Not 100%.
Let's not forget what Big E says. They have witness lists out. And this goes to another thing, because the state said in Lori's last hearing that they took issue with Thomas. They're saying that all the discovery had not been turned over. And the state said, we've turned everything over. Well, if that's the case, and I believe it, then you've got to wonder, has the defense attorneys talked to Melanie P. or Ian? Have they sat them down? Have they tried to see what they can do to make some reasonable doubt? Melanie P. going on the stand saying, my Aunt Lori didn't do it. It was all Chad. Or, something to that effect. Or Emma getting on the stand. It was
Mhm.
all Lori. It was Lori and Alex.
He
You know
was
what I'm saying?
framed. Yeah, he was framed, and I'm not mocking her, but because I really I stay torn between the Daybell siblings, and it's because I believe in because I love Tammy, and I've never met the woman, but I don't know, I connected with her spirit, her mm, who she was in life, and I try to think of their kids, the Daybell siblings. I try to think of them as hers, not Chad's. And I don't know. I hope that works. I hope they work that out. And I know it's a long road, but I mean, part of me just wants to go hug them. And yeah, I know that day that Larry and Mom went to the fence, um, right after they unearthed the children, and Larry is heard saying, "I come in peace," and he is just that. That's my dad, and that is him exactly. And I looked at Jason, my fiance at that time, and I was like, I said, "Well, we're about to have some more." I think grandkids is what I said, because that's exactly how it would have been had or and still could be. I don't know. I mean, we're I don't know. Um, there's nothing wrong with love. I have so many issues with the hate in the world. There's nothing wrong with loving people.
Well, I hate evil. Okay, I
I
don't hate.
know.
I don't hate. All of us, and it's just my opinion. I mean, I believe it's truth that all people are made in the image of God, but I'm just saying the behaviors, and trust me, I mean, it's just me. We all sin, we all fall short. I'm not saying that anyone's better than anyone else. I'm just saying when you go around murdering kids and saying that, you've seen Jesus Christ
And
and God is leading you to murder your children, give me a break. Just give me a break.
yeah, I agree. Uh, there was something you said. Y'all, I went to a birthday party earlier. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. I'm tired. So, I apologize for my squirrel brain. But all right. Well, do we want to finish or listen a little more to what Ian's gonna say in this?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to, I just had one last thing I wanted to bring up before, whenever this is over and done with. That, and I want y'all to listen up because you'll understand that this is important to bring it up. And this was in the Chandler dump. These are things I'm chewing on, and I need y'all's help.
All right.
Okay, it says a witness in the case contacts the FBI on December 14th of 2019. Now stop. And I have to ask this because it's been gnawing at me. Saying Chad and Lori called a relative. Okay. So
That's
a
the man.
relative of Chad and Lori called on December 14th of 2019. So you think about that. And Chad and Lori say police contacted two of Chad's kids and threatened them that they would exhume Tammy's body. The couple reportedly thought the threat was a scare tactic and did not think the FBI was involved. They also felt they were being bullied by Rexburg police. Authorities had already exhumed Tammy's body on December 11th of 2019. And the reason I bring this up is because if you look at this in context, a witness, okay? It doesn't say who. It says a witness in the case contacts the FBI on December 14th and says Chad and Lori called, a relative. Okay, so how would this person, this witness, know that a relative of Chad or Lori's would know this? So and this is what I'm trying to say is I think that Ian is the witness in the case, contacts the FBI on December 14th of 2019 saying Chad and Lori called a relative. And I think that was Melanie P. In the call, Chad and Lori say police contacted two of Chad's kids and threatened them that they would exhume Tammy's body. So this points to me, y'all, that Ian had been working with the FBI just further than just recording. I think there was more done in this, and Ian was actively given information, because it would not be in this Chandler dump. A witness in the case contacts FBI on December 14th of 2019. And you got to ask the question, what witness would know this relative that says, you see what I'm saying?
I'd have to read it. I'm one of those people. You know, where
I'm quoting straight from the Chandler doc. I'm not, this isn't me paraphrasing. This
No.
is a witness in the case contacts the FBI on December 14th saying Chad and Lori called a relative. Okay, how did this witness know that Chad and Lori called this relative? And who was the relative? I think the relative was Melani P. And it was Ian that was the witness. That's what I think.
I thought it was December 6th.
No, it says in the Chandler dump, a witness in the case contacts the FBI on December 14th of 2019 saying Chad and Lori called a relative. In the call, blah, blah, blah.
That's Jack Daybell, I do believe.
You think so? Or
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've kind of picked that up.
Saying Chad and Lori called a relative. So that would explain, if it was Jack Daybell, they were saying to him, and that's Chad's father, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so when they say
comment being made that Jack, where'd that come from? Jack Daybell was aggravated because every time he would call Chad to talk, Chad would put it on speaker so that, the control freak would be able to control stuff. So he was finding it really hard to make contact with his son. Does anybody else remember this that way? Or okay. Yep.
Okay, so if it's Jack Daybell, who was the one that's a witness in a case, contacts the FBI, a witness in the case.
Samantha, her sister is, if maybe, listen, let me just throw that out there. It could be Samantha, Tammy's sister. She's the one who the FBI showed her a picture of Chad's property from overhead, and she pointed at the pet cemetery.
Okay, so remember when Zulema, when she was in her interview, she said Alex was on the phone with Chad and Lori, and they just nonchalantly talked about Tammy being exhumed.
Mm-hmm.
Did Zulema say in her interview that Chad and Lori thought that this was all just a crock of crap? Or did she actually say they knew that Tammy was being exhumed?
Mm.
Because, again, it says a witness in the case, a witness in the case.
Mm.
And so Jack Daybell, if you're correct, and that makes sense because, and I thought it might have been Ian and Melani P, because I feel like Ian is a witness from the FBI because he did the recordings. But it would make sense that this witness said the couple reportedly thought the threat was a scare tactic and they were being bullied by Rexburg. It would make sense that Chad would tell his dad, "Oh, Dad, this is just a scare tactic." But then you've got to ask the question, did Jack Daybell hear that Tammy had been exhumed on December 14th when no one was supposed to know?
But what if maybe Samantha told him?
Well, no, how would Samantha know that Tammy was being exhumed is what I'm saying.
Being exhumed? I remember the kids, like the siblings, Emma saying that I want to say they visited their mom's grave that day, but they already had her back, buried. I don't know how to say that properly.
And so there was fresh soil there? Or?
And that's why Emma got mad. I do remember that. Maybe it was her phone call with the court TV correspondent.
Yeah. What I'm saying is I'm trying to, and I know this seems insignificant to all of y'all, but I'm putting a timeline together and I'm doing this, I'm trying to get this straight. First of all, off the bottom level, if a law enforcement agency is going to exhume a body, they don't have to notify a family member, right?
Mm-mm. Nope, they don't. But right here, Breaking Crime with Big E says truth was she had already been exhumed. And then D. Hutchinson says, I think Ian told Natalie and she called. So, I mean, yeah, just it's going to be one or the other. Or,
Well, I think the reason I bring it up, and I'm not trying to confuse anybody, is
oh,
when it talks about a witness in the case contacts the FBI, I'm trying to make out my list according to what information we know now, who a witness is going to be in the trial. That is exact. I mean, I didn't want anyone to get lost in the semantics or anything of what the content was. What I'm trying to decipher is a witness in the case.
right.
Because if
No, I
it's
get it. I appreciate what you're doing. I always love this about you because you always make me think. Just, I think it's good.
So it could be Jack Daybell. It could be any of these other ones. It could be Garth. It could be Samantha. It could be all of these. But then when you make your list of who it could be, who would the state call? And what information will they provide that will do what the state wants? And that is prove criminal intent of Chad and Lori. That's what I'm trying, because without criminal intent, you have no conviction. This isn't about motive. Motive doesn't have to be proven. What I'm trying to do my mock witness list. I'm taking off the grand jury list. That goes without saying. And I would love to know if Melanie P and Ian are going to be the state witnesses, or whether whether Brandon's going to be there. These are things that I'm trying to figure out. And yes, of course, y'all, we won't know until the trial. But
I like it. I like what you do. I appreciate that. That's you have that brain like that. I'm just like, huh? So I appreciate you for doing that. And we'll do the best we can. I do better when I'm not reading comments and stuff. But let's see what they're saying. Okay, Crochet and Bammy says yes. Do you think they're going to release a witness list anytime soon?
Yeah, Kavita Diva says too many possibilities. You're right, Kavita Diva. I can get lost in it sometime, but I've worked so hard. I don't want to read into anything, and I deal in theory and hypothesis. I do, and sometimes it ends up being right. Sometimes it's way off, wrong. Most of the time it's wrong. But when I think of Melanie P and Ian, and I think about where they must be today, and what they're facing and where they've been. I know that Melanie P and Ian was on the grand jury list, right?
Yeah.
So they,
getting served.
I mean, they got past the feeling inconvenience to being subpoenaed. They thought they could run away from it. Melanie P pops out another baby. They're getting on with their life. They're trying to anyway, but you can't run away from the consequences. I've always been one to
here and go play house over here. I mean, I've done that when I've tried to not in my marriages and divorce. I'm like, yeah, we'll just pretend. We'll play pretend. I don't do pretend. I'm not very good at it. So,
well, I'll tell you what, there is no house, and I get what you're saying. There is no home for JJ and Tylee anymore. They're in heaven. But it's when I think about Melanie Gibb and her autistic child, I guess the child must be an adult now. And
David Warwick's son is also he has Downs.
And they continue to get to hug and love on their loved ones
and grandbabies. I've seen pictures of freaking Melanie Gibb playing with, I don't know who the hell's kid it is, but I was like, oh my God, Jason showed me that from Facebook. I don't know where. And I was like, no, Melanie Gibbs. Oh my God. Somebody call 911 now. She don't need to be around any children, in my opinion, in my experience. That's scary, isn't it?
It is scary. Katie H., the bottom line is from the day of that welfare check, Melanie P should have immediately, her and Ian both, they should have immediately. But what had to happen? Melanie P, it was like pulling teeth. Even her own new husband had to be an FBI informant, basically, because she wasn't going to dang let it all out. And now the bottom line is because they tried to cover up their involvement in all this, the bottom line is they're knee deep in shit. Excuse my French.
Mm-hmm. There's even a shit truck, a shit van parked right here in their driveway. I'm talking about Melanie and Ian. So yeah, and y'all are. Of course, I don't have anything to show you. I can tell you that I had learned, that Ian Pawlowski worked for Melaleuca plant, which is over in the Rexburg area. And they made essential oils. Interesting, huh? But he has a college degree. And so seeing this plumbing truck or plumbing van in his driveway, and it's backed in, it makes me think, is he a plumber now?
He better be making some big bucks because he's got to keep Melanie P up now. I don't know. I mean, I'm all for. I mean, I stayed home with my kids when they were young and all that. I'm all for it. I think a mother is the most important job anybody can have. I don't hold it against. I was a single parent of 3 sons for 7 years. So I know both ways. I've lived it. I've had to work 2 jobs. I've had to go to college. I've had to do all these things in order to survive. But the bottom line is Melanie P was not successful in taking out Brandon. There is no doubt. Absolutely. It is beyond me. And I'm not even here to even try to figure out why Brandon let it go, because he did. He let it go, period, end of sentence. If I truly in my heart felt like my spouse was trying to kill me, I wouldn't care. I would be fighting tooth and nail. And he won that dang lawsuit. He got all that money. And, the bottom
Well,
line is,
no, he didn't get all that money, but it's,
well, he
he,
didn't get all the
owed
money.
money. He'll
He
be
didn't
owed
get all
money.
the money because it says right here, it says Brandon sued Smith and Jarvis and their wives personally. Why add the wives who probably had nothing to do with it? Because
Because
Arizona is a community property state, and Brandon's attorney wanted to avoid any chance that they would try and transfer assets to their spouse. It's not clear how much the attorneys were insured for, but this means that Brandon may not get the full 12 million. Lawyers who represent people in this sort of case usually do so on a contingency fee agreement, meaning they only get paid if they win. They generally get 25 to 33% if the case settles before trial. Still, Brandon will receive several $1,000,000 in compensation for Smith and Jarvis, who maliciously smeared his good name. And it's interesting that this Smith guy represented Lori's sister, Summer Shiflett, and Zulema, and the wife of Lori's deceased brother, Alex Cox. Smith gave Lori's attorney, Mark Means, a copy of Rob Wood and Summer Shiflett's recording, and he's a slimy attorney. And I'm glad. I'm glad they shoved it so far up his ass it winked at him. Okay.
Yeah, right. I remember Jason telling me, and I don't know. I mean, this is just my fiance telling me this, but he's had told me that Garrett Smith allegedly maybe lost his license for a year. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Again, that's hearsay.
I mean, just real quickly, how does this attorney get all the cult members as clients? I mean,
Because
and where the hell is Barthlick, huh?
because he's in there like swimwear. I want to know more about Barthlick. He's a good old boy. I don't know. I don't know. Right?
This could go on forever, couldn't it?
I got his
Trisha?
picture in my phone. I've screenshotted him. Y'all, I ran across that old. I don't know. It's so much hearsay. It was from Dan Judd, and I mean, I read it to Jason, and he was like, "Good God." It's crazy. It's crazy. It was an email that Dan Judd wrote to, I want to say, my parents, and then they forwarded it on to FBI. And I remember asking mom about it, and she was like, "That was nothing but a bunch of crap." She was just like, "That dude just wasted our time." But I watch Dan Judge. I watch everybody. I watch all of them.
Yeah, I just want to say this while I'm thinking of it, Krisha. For
Hmm.
any of y'all that's heard old KJ use colorful language or whatever, this is not representative of difficult research.
Mine's worse.
Krisha can't know what I'm going to say, and most of the time I don't. So if I've offended anyone, I apologize for that. It's just I'm an old Southern girl. I don't have a filter a lot of times, and that's really something I need to work on and be a better person and not use as profane and foul language. But it's not the profanity; it's more of the emphasis that I use the profanity, and I apologize to and yeah, you're a lot of y'all would think, yeah, KJ, but you can emphasize something without using colorful language, and you're 100% correct. Again, I apologize. It's not reflective of Crush's channel. So
Thank you, but I'm worse. I swear. If it wasn't for monetization, yeah, what? um, but I do appreciate KJ for doing that. She provides that for me. I
yeah,
use her.
I'm so looking forward to getting to this threshold of actually being in Idaho and going to the trial. Um, it's not to me. I'm just going to be upfront. I'm not going to be there when there's a coroner there or pictures. I'm not going to see that stuff. I'm not going to allow myself to do it. I don't want to. If I want to see something about JJ and Tylee, I want to go on difficult research and see the beautiful memories that Cresha had with them and the beautiful life that they had, along with Tammy, with Charles. Those are the things I choose to remember. And I just pray for Cresha and her family, because they will be in that courtroom when that stuff is shown. And that's one of my greatest prayers, is that somehow God will get them through this, and that they can get past whatever images they have to see, because OKJ is not strong enough at all to even go there on that. But
No,
I'm just so
thank you.
proud of you, Krisha. I am, and Big E, I'm so thankful to know you. I hope I get to meet you one day, and Jen, and all these people in here that's been here with you day after day, week after week. Y'all are so special and real. Y'all are real people.
Yeah, I love.
And I love that. I absolutely adore it. It brings me new hope in my life, that there are people out here that are actually good-hearted, loving, caring, intelligent people with common sense.
Yeah. Um, there's Rombo. They say, "Hey y'all, I saw the beginning with Ian and Melanice getting subpoenaed, and then my computer crashed." See, it was Melanice's. It was her fault. Um, restoring a. I ate two. God dang, you ran out of shoes. I ate two pair of shoes.
But Rambo Angel, I thought you liked to eat flip flops.
Yeah, yeah, you're a connoisseur. you know.
Hey, I'll tell you something, Chris. I hate to say this off subject real quickly, but Big E, he was telling me that the Wagner, the Pike County murders,
Oh yeah.
starting this week. I think tomorrow they're going to finish up jury. I don't think they're going to have opening statements tomorrow. I could be wrong. But for all of us that have stayed so immersed and so
Are you
committed
giving
and
us
so
homework,
dedicated.
KJ? Are you giving us homework? I'm joking.
Well, listen, this is what I'm
No,
saying. If we're waiting and for maybe motion hearings or
we're preparing.
even for the trial, if we can dip in on other trials and use application, in
Yes.
other words, hey, what this prosecuting attorney just said, they might or do this might happen in the upcoming trial, and maybe I need to go and research, or maybe this jiggles something and gives me an answer to something I've been wondering about in this case, and it really it's good.
I
Application
like
really
it.
does help.
I like it. It really does make me think. And I mean, I wonder, and I've wondered this before. I wonder if like Rob Wood, and the other attorneys, I used to pretty much just assume that Mark Means watched other people go to court. But I wonder if they watch any of these trials, or if they even have time. They're
They probably don't. But I'll tell you what you want to know what my dream would be? My dream would be that somehow the state of Arizona made a mistake and Juan Martinez has come back to prosecute Lori in conspiracy to commit murder. I would love Juan Martinez to get up there and do the cha-cha on that hussy.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who don't know who Juan Martinez is, he was the prosecuting attorney in the Jodi Arias trial. Are you talking about one of the best prosecutors ever?
Huh. And I mean, I just watched, here and there. I wasn't dedicated, but I mean, I can imagine. Oh God, no, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. And she took the stand, Oof. What if Lori or any of these people took the stand? Like
Well,
Lori
you think of it,
tried.
think about it like this, Kresha. I mean, these people are guilty as hell. So what
Mm-hmm.
do they have to lose? And if she's willing to come into a damn motion hearing in a freaking ponytail and sit there and smile and act like a damn cheerleader from
Hussy.
heck, I mean,
Yeah.
if she's willing to do that, it's and if some people say, well, she just really thinks this is all just it's just formality. The end of the world's coming, so she did her part. She did what God told her to do. Then you think it's going to keep her from getting on the stand? And no, a defense attorney cannot stop her from
Yeah.
getting on the stand. And I'd love to see her get up there and talk her way out of it. I mean, Rob Wood ain't no dang charismatic, majorly charismatic prosecutor, but I'd love to see Rachel Smith or Lindsay Blake tear her a new asshole. I mean, that's just the way I think.
Right. Maggie Hoagland says, "Okay, Jay, amen. The one and only, the one and only."
Big E, Juan Martinez, I mean, whatever he did to where he had to, basically lose his law license, I don't appreciate that if he really did do those things. I think he had a history of sexual harassment or something to that effect. I'm going to tell you what, Arizona
Right.
lost one of the best prosecutors they ever had. And it's just, when you think about Chandler and you think about Gilbert, Arizona, they need an overhaul. All of them do. After what happened to Charles Vallow,
Yes.
Arizona needs to get their heads out their behinds,
They,
and get,
Be
get
proactive
yeah,
and get ready for it,
definitely.
because it's not. I'm not going to sit there and just allow it. I have come to that decision. I haven't gone through the process or anything. I don't know. It's just a thought. So many people, I have seen a bazillion comments over the past, what, two plus years, 2.5 years. And not one person really has just given a good argument as to Arizona not failing my Uncle Charles, and then ultimately Tylee, JJ, Tammy, and I always have to put Joe in there too. I can't leave them apart. I can't. So I mean, they were failed. They were wronged by Lori for sure. Every one of them, and it just sucks. I'm sorry.
It does. But, all of us we would love some new information on Melanie P and Ian, but it just seems to me that the bottom line is whether or not they will testify in the trial, because I don't see, if they're not going to charge Chad in the conspiracy to commit Charles Vallow's murder, or we haven't heard hide nor hair of the attempt on Brandon's life, while they've got storage unit video showing the plan
Mhm.
in motion. For God's sake. I mean, it's sitting there right in everyone's face. There's no way that there could be a possible explanation of why that Jeep seat and tire was there. I don't understand why we're not Maybe they're not bringing this out right now because we've got such a high profile case in
And
Idaho. I just don't understand if they don't charge somebody for conspiracy on to commit murder on Brandon. I just don't understand it. And Brandon hasn't helped himself by agreeing and stipulating to the custody arrangement
yeah.
with Melani P. Because I sure as hell wouldn't stipulate to someone who was trying to take me out.
Right.
And,
I mean, I don't know the reasoning behind that. And I don't even know if he had any control. Yeah. I mean, the judge ultimately would have had to make the decision, but
it was a
they
stipulation,
didn't have to lock.
Gretchen.
Oh, okay.
It was a stipulation. There
I don't
wasn't that he
understand
was just
legally.
going to make a final decision. He stipulated to it. In other words, he went ahead and said, okay, let's sit down. Let's get this. I don't know if they went through mediation, but the bottom line is you cannot negotiate with someone who's trying to take you out,
You
especially
can't.
if you've got kids with them.
I say that about my bonus son, my youngest one. He was a toddler when I met. He was 18 months old, and I used to tell Jason, we cannot negotiate with a terrorist. And I'm talking about a 2-year-old terrorist. But Lord, I mean, come on, no, that is. My mom said it best when she had to deal with the devil, and that is truth, truth. Oh,
Well, I challenge all of y'all, if you've got time, and I'm sure you've done it. A lot of you have very been thorough and all that. Go back, listen to Melani P. and Ian's Nate Aiton interview, or the 12 News from Arizona interview. Listen to it now and know what in context we're talking about here. You got to remember that Ian knew she was talking this jazz before the kids were even missing. And talking about her own children, and that she was afraid her children would die because of what she'd heard about what JJ and Tylee were zombies or possessed or whatever the hell you want to call it. Who in the hell lives like this? It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Missy, how you doing? Exactly. And I don't understand, y'all. I told y'all I've been pulled over, and I've gotten more interrogation standing at my car. And I'm like, 2 cops are talking to me at the same time, and y'all know I can't do 2 things at once. And so, I mean, it gets a rise, and I start raising my voice, and I have a little tone in my voice, and I'd say, well, I am calm. Ma'am, calm down. I am. It sounds like I'm getting snarky or whatever, but I'm not. I'm just like, yo, chill out. But then you see all these people who are the reason, or part of the reason, or enablers, or even maybe participants in why my baby nephew's not here, why Tylee won't see her 20. Wait, I think it would be her 21st birthday coming September 24th. My Uncle Charles, and then there's Tammy and there's Joe, and I don't understand. I got more slack or not slack, but flack from being pulled over in my town. It was a traffic, issue, but here they are all, talking about Lori crushing up Xanax and putting them. It blows my mind. It pisses me off. Really.
Yeah, Amazing Lynn. When you talk about it would turn your stomach to listen to Melani P again, or her voice sounds like nails down a chalkboard. Let me tell you something. There are many times I've had to listen to things over and over again, but I keep the victims and the victims' family members in mind, because I'm going to get justice through understanding of all this. And let me just be clear. Melani P gave those interviews because it was in Melani P's best interest to defend Lori at that time. Yeah. Because she knew that if she went to police or what, they didn't know whether the children were going to be found at that time. And it wasn't that Melani P thought, oh, I believe my Aunt Lori, that the kids are somewhere safe and all this and that. Even a person that's not related could see that. Even her own mother, Lori's mother, said Lori put the kids in a room and take a picture. Just let us know they're okay.
She also
Melanie
said that
P
she
knew
talked to
all
them.
of this.
She also said she talked to Lori, JJ. I want to say, yeah, JJ on October 2nd. So there's that.
Yeah, and
Or
you
she
know,
heard
of
from
course, the
background.
family's going to try to try to, you know, put her in the Lori in the best light. But Melanie P had no reason at all. If Melanie P didn't know the deal, if Melanie P really didn't know that this stuff was going on, there wouldn't have been any reason for her to take up for Lori. But she did it because, again, I will say it as clear as I can be. She had to. She had to, because as long as those children's bodies weren't found, she knew that she could latch on to that story with Lori and Chad and the rest of them. You know, Zulema can say all she wants. I thought, she always said it, they were safe. Give me a break.
Right. You
These
live
kids
next to
were,
you share a
when
wall.
Zulema and Melanie P and them were, before Lori really got to Rexburg, and even when she did it first, before the 8th of September, the kids were around, and then all of a sudden they're not. Give me a break. It's ridiculous to think her excuse, Melanie P's excuse for not seeing JJ, who
Yeah.
needs to be at home every day. Yeah, he goes to school or he needs special care, but he still
Therapy.
has to be at home.
Right.
Melanie P lived right next damn door. It's common sense. It's just logic. It's common sense. She knew. That's why she was speaking about how she was worried about her own children, because it's my view that Lori and Chad wanted Melanie P to murder her own children too.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't see that. I didn't see that going in a good direction. Those poor kids. I sit there and I think about those kids, and I wonder what Melanie P tells her kids. How does she twist it? Does she twist it? Do y'all think? If I had to guess, then yeah, I think she twists things and projects it back onto, well, it's your dad's fault or something. Just seems to be the trend, you know.
Yeah, well, Big E, those kids are going to grow up one day, Cresha, but Big E says you lose credibility when you flash a fake phone bill on Good Morning America or whatever it was. The bottom line is one day, just like you say, Cresha, Melanie P's going to tell her kids something, but one day they're going to be adults. And
Mm-hmm.
one day they're going to look back on all this. And they're going, and anyone that's got a brain cell in their head is going to know from the get-go that if Melanie P was some person that just didn't know what she believed, or she listened to many podcasts or whatever, then why? Why would Ian need to be secretly recording her?
Wow.
Ian is the key.
That is,
Ian's going to take it all down.
I still don't. Well, why? I still don't understand why he went through with it. And I mean, like, only his children were able to attend their wedding. Alex gave, his niece away in that Vegas wedding, to Ian. Um, and, but they went ahead and did it. It's like, uh, Melanie was bitching about, Brandon's keeping my kids away and yada, yada, yada. And I did not abandon them. And,
That's why she didn't show up to that one custody
Mhm.
hearing. I think it was the day before or 2 days before Alex died. She had every opportunity to go to. She didn't show up for that hearing. This isn't a woman that wants her kids back. This woman was being told by Alex or Chad or Lori, all three of them, not to do anything at that time because Lori and Chad didn't want anyone looking that way. And so they convinced Melanie P not to do anything because any attention drawn her way, and they knew good and damn well they were trying to take Brandon out. It's just
Mhm.
like the whole concept of Alex and Lori leaving Arizona. They knew Kay knew. They knew Kay knew that
Oh,
they
yeah.
murdered Charles.
Yeah.
They knew it, and they were running from that. And that's where we get this attempt on Brandon's life. That's where they ended up. Well, the kids get murdered, and then they take whatever Social Security or whatever for that. They got to get more money. So then they try Brandon, and they were going to get a cut of it. I
And
guarantee you.
Melanie stopped divorce proceedings 2 days prior to the shooting of Brandon Boudreaux. Why? Because she wouldn't get a payout if they were, filing for divorce or seeking divorce. That right there, oh my God. And then I wonder, let's say it wasn't Melanie that called and I mean, I don't know if she called her attorney, or I don't know how the hell they do that. I don't know if Barry drew the damn papers up, but that's so Captain Obvious. That's all I
Yeah,
can say.
well, Charles was going to get a divorce. Charles was going to get a divorce, but
Yeah.
Lori knew she was going to have to schmooze her way back into things with Charles this long enough for them to murder him so she could get the money. That's why he was saying love always wins, because she had smoothed him back into her life briefly. He gets her a place in Arizona so she could be closer to her family. He's
Mhm.
doing all the right things, but the whole plan was because he was fixing to send her packing. He was fixing to go down the road, and he already took steps to make Kay the beneficiary of the life insurance. So you see where his mindset was at that time. If he thought for a second that him and Lori were going to work things out, he wouldn't have done that. Then he would have had to explain to Lori, well, we're back together now, but I just want you to know that we've got to go back and change this and make you the beneficiary because I gave it to my sister there because I didn't think we were going to get back together.
And
Lori didn't.
it would have never been good between mom and Lori ever again, And I mean, even though my mom she didn't say, hey, Charles, sign your life insurance over to me. He asked her and she was like, no, 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 leave it to his older boys. And he was like, no, because he was scared for Cole and Zach's lives. He was scared if he did that, then they would retaliate against his sons. Well, that tells me right there that, the risk is there for my mom to be retaliated against, but my mom can handle herself.
Yeah, and she's got Big Larry too. He would have put the foot off in the butt there if somebody would have done anything or even come near Kay. Let me tell you something. It's significant that Charles changed that beneficiary to make his sister that said he was done. But
Mhm.
Lori tried to reel him back in.
She had
And
to go, and she said, I have to go. She told Melanie, give this. I have to go and get his finances in order. That like a good wife.
yeah,
So,
she wanted to dang mess with him long enough to think things were better. So
mhm,
but even then, the way it's explained to me, and I take what Melanie Gibbs says with a grain of salt.
right.
But the bottom line is that she didn't know until she called. So Lori didn't know that she was not the beneficiary when she called that life insurance place. She thought that she still was. So what I'm saying is for her to tell Chad, well, I'm not going to get the money, but I'm still going to get the other benefits from the
Mm,
kids. Well, they wanted the benefits, all right. They just didn't want the kids. And it's a damn shame that that's the price tag of evil right there. Just,
right.
$1 million. Let me tell you, you can't put a price tag on the love of a child. And
Or
for her to
anybody.
betray her children, Tylee, who loved her, JJ, who loved her as much as they did, she put a price tag on that. This had nothing to do with the end of the damn world. This had to do with, I am going to live it up with my new fat ass chin husband, and this is how we're going to live. And it didn't work out that way. She's sitting between two damn attorneys at a hearing last time who is being reminded, just no matter what she says, no matter how she smiles, no matter how she looks, she
Mhm.
is screwed royally.
Yeah. you know, Standing ovation for real.
Well, gold digger. If she was a gold digger, I know she spent most of her marriage the marriage that she had was with Charles. So Charles was doing something right. Now, some would say, well, maybe Charles just kept her up in this lifestyle and it wasn't really about love. No, Charles took care of her, loved her. He loved this woman. And
Mhm.
this is what he got.
He
And
got
this is what
blamed. You're cheating on me. She deflected, and everything she was doing. Usually, the one accusing is the one doing. That's what I've always known. That's what I've come to learn. It's not always the case, but most of the time, yeah. Especially corroborating with I'm gonna have an angel here to dispose of your body, and you're shorter because you're possessed by Ned, Eplos, Heblo, whatever names, whatever names. Another thing I wanted to tell y'all about is I've been reading a Chad Daybell book.
Oh,
And
Cresha, I can't believe you're going to corrupt your brain with that crap.
hey, I learn. They speak. They talk so much. You just gotta. Now I know what to look for, and now I know the talk. So I catch these things, and it's the renewed earth. And I mean, they're only 200 pages, KJ. Anyways.
Yeah, well, you know how I feel, Cresha.
Uh-huh.
Anyone who
I want
wants
to make it
to buy that book, they're just paying for Chad's
that.
defense. And I get why you need to. I understand there's this
Mhm.
understanding that you're trying to get to. So I get that. But I'm just saying that the people need to stop buying that garbage because all it's doing is funding his defense. That's all it's doing.
Well, I mean, is there any way? Because I think of ways. I'm like, if I gotta, I know that's kind of like a copyright issue. I don't want to give anybody a reason to sue me, but there's got to be somewhere a library. That's kind of what I wanted to offer whenever I have my get my website up and everything. Just all that crap in one place. I don't know how that would work. If anybody has any ideas, and you have any advice, I really would appreciate it. I don't know how to handle this. I definitely want to deter. I don't want us to pay for Chad to make commissary. I don't want him to be comfortable.
Well, I'm sure Emma and Garth will find a way to make sure their dad gets his fruity toothpaste and extra little goodies for Bubba.
Yeah. I just don't want it to be on.
I really did not mean to make you feel like, anything Cresha on that. I understand why you've got to do it. I feel very strongly about that. And maybe,
Me too.
it's out of my own ignorance. I get it. But I'll tell you what, there ain't nobody that's gonna. I have nothing to say about Chad's writings other than he's a shitty writer.
Yeah,
I've already
they
read
are.
a smutty novel.
Yeah.
That tells me all I need to know.
Yep. I mean, and I agree with you. They are, and I mean, y'all, I've listened. I don't know how many hours, countless hours of Julie Rowe, Eric Smith. I've done this every day, and I'm not exaggerating. Y'all know I always say this. I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I listen to Mike Stroud's podcast, and he's got a bazillion of them. Okay, they love to talk. And then on top of that, you have Hector Sosa. I have Zalema with her Trials for Grace or whatever. I've got David Warwick's 80-hour long 4-hour conversation. I've got there's a Preparing a People fireside chat, and it has everybody sitting around this well, it's a circle, but not one of them, I don't think. And it's Jason Mao. There's David. Oh no, not David. Mike and Nancy James. There's Rod Meldrum, Sean Littlebear. I mean, all your key, your what do you call them, actors? Your leading roles, And
yeah, well, I'm sure you've got filters and you've got a strong enough mind, but I totally get it when Jen of True Crime Unveiled says you listen to these Julie Rowe and all these other people long enough, it'll make you like crazy.
It does. It does. And so when I hear Zach Cox saying, this is all Lori listened to instead of music, and I'm like, me too. Me too now. but mine's just for understanding. One day I'm going to be able to walk away from all of that and put that behind me and have my research, do what I got to do with it. And hopefully maybe raise awareness one day. And I don't know where this goes, but I know
Well,
that this is where I've been led.
the good news is Zach Cox wouldn't take $100 to read one of Chad's books that Alex offered him. Good for Zach Cox. I mean, that's just the way I feel
Yeah,
about it.
he took it.
Garbage in, garbage out. That's the way I see it.
Zach Cox said he read just like I don't think he said he Googled it, but he just kind of read, whatever it's called, the sleeves or whatever. And then Alex paid him. So good for him, really. He didn't read it, but he got that money. Smart kid.
Rhombohedral says one thing at least one can say on Julie Rose. She's entertaining. Whenever I feel sad and down, I just watch Julie waving with her rainbow ribbons and I feel way better. And I saved $800.
Or more. $800 or more. And then when I saw that she did that zombies, whatever, y'all, I have in a podcast where she said to Eric Smith, she was like, I have never heard that term zombies. And she was like, she considers a zombie, like drug addicts and things like that. That's what she said. She said that's tacky. That's just something like that. It was some kind of weird saying like that. And then here this wench comes out with zombies. I mean, that woman there, I don't know. She's going to be another Teal Swan if we don't stop that momentum. That's way too much. She's got a good following and she makes money off this crap.
It's just crazy. I mean, it just
family.
it's maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm living in a rural town. I live out here in the country, in Tennessee, but I don't see. I mean, it kind of is sad, really, that people, and everyone has a right to listen to whatever they want to and do whatever they want to do. Don't get me wrong. It's just, there's just so many other things out here in life that are so much more important than wanting to figure out everything. I mean, live your moment to moment, for gosh sake.
Yes.
Live your moment to moment. Live your life. It might not be all that in a box of cookies there. You might feel like, there's some people that are shut in. People have mental or physical disabilities, things of that sort. And, I get it. But what I'm saying is that, you're the only you're ever going to be. And, there's so much that you can be doing besides trying to figure out, whether you're worthy or not to go to heaven and all this and that. I mean, the bottom line is, God is love. And without God, there can't be love. And if you say you love, then who God is, really. In my view, this is me. This is KJ. God is love. And when you really love, then you know who God is. And Chad and Lori, like you said, Kresha, they didn't know what love was. They knew what lust was. There's no way that God had played a part in any of this. Melanie P. I mean, for goodness sake, and Ian, I mean, are they that disconnected from reality that they're going to believe that Chad and Lori can teleport to Hawaii? For God's sake.
Right. It's a disgusting thing, I totally agree with you. I want to read this with everybody. I don't know if you want to hang around, KJ. I want you to, but
No, I'm going to probably go ahead and sign off. I'm losing my voice.
Oh.
Y'all know, KJ, I'm getting old and feeble.
Nah.
I love all of y'all, and thank y'all so much for letting me ramble on. And also, all of y'all, hey, Big E, I'm going to probably be shooting you a few texts over this Wagner thing. There's a few things that I wanted to ask you about it. I think I'm going to try to use some application of the Wagner trial in with this case to try to, for all of us to do what? Get justice through understanding. So with that said, I love you all. And Kresha, I'm there for you 110%. and
Mhm.
keep on looking.
Love you. Okay. So I'm gonna read this. It was an article, and it's Six Park News Desk. It's just random, and okay. It says and this is November 19th, 2021. So just know that this is an old article, but you find the best nuggets in there. ITS Jackson 72. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It says new details released about attempted shooting linked to Daybell's as police recommend charges. Again, this is November 19, 2021. Old news. Chad and Lori Daybell are pictured on January 26, 2020. Arizona police have asked prosecutors to review charges against the couple for attempted murder conspiracy in connection with an incident involving a former member of the Lori. That's weird. Of Lori Vallow's family. They put of the Lori Vallows. But anyways, okay, it says Nate Eden, East Idaho News also. It says Gilbert, Arizona. Arizona police have asked prosecutors to review charges against Chad and Lori Daybell for attempted murder conspiracy in connection with an incident involving a former member of Lori Vallow Daybell's family. Good God, shorten that thing up. The request came Tuesday after the Gilbert Police Department spent the past 2 years investigating the October 2nd, 2019 attempt to shoot Brandon Boudreaux, Lori's former political nephew. I never heard it that way. Court and police reports show that Boudreaux, Melani Pawlowski's ex-husband, was in a contentious divorce at the time of the shooting. The Daybells already face murder-related charges in connection with the deaths of 2 of their children and the couple's deceased spouses. Again, this is an old article. Investigators released the details of the investigation Wednesday in a 304-page police report and a handful of body cam videos. Police do not press. That's weird. It says, I'm reading it how it says. It says police do not press charges against Pawlowski, according to the report. It is unclear if she could be charged in the future. Well, let's pray. The good way. Based on evidence obtained during the investigation, police believe Alex Cox, Lori Daybell's brother, and Pawlowski's uncle, was driving a green Jeep Wrangler from Rexburg, Idaho, fired a single shot at Boudreaux and missed. Cox then drove back to Idaho. He has been unable to face charges since he is in hell. I mean, he's dead. He didn't say that, but I did. To December 12, 2019, at his home in Arizona for what the coroner said were natural causes. I'm gonna interject there and be like, he lived there. He didn't live there. He didn't have time to change his damn address. In the 48 hours leading up to the shooting, on September 20th, 2019, Lori Daybell conducted a search linked to her Gmail account. So Lori conducted a search linked to her Gmail account. That same day, Cox visited Lori Daybell's apartment, and he received a phone call from a burner phone belonging to Chad Daybell. I looked up. According to the documents. See? All that just to say that. Okay. After about 11 hours of driving, the Jeep was seen heading west again on Interstate 40 near Hallbrook, Arizona, which is about 3 hours northeast of Gilbert, Arizona. Twice that morning, Cox and Chad Daybell made calls between their burner phones, according to police reports. 13 hours before the shooting, Cox's Gmail account shows that he searched for Boudreaux's new rental address because he's smart. Which Pawlowski and a few others knew about. More communications took place between Chad Daybell and Cox's burner phones around this time, according to the police. Eyewitness accounts confirmed that a dark-colored Jeep Wrangler, well, they said green, now they're saying dark. Anyways, where everything's dark. Eyewitness accounts confirmed that a dark-colored Jeep Wrangler with a Texas license plate, dark tinted windows, and no wheel attached to the rear was idling on the wrong side of the street, immediately west of Brandon's direction. They talk weird. On a police report, it says on October 2nd, 2019, Cox's phone looked up directions to. Did I already? Okay, they printed again. Okay, eyewitness accounts confirmed that it. Oh my gosh! All right, Boudreaux told investigators that he left the home around 7:25 a.m. with his 4 children, and when he returned around 9:14 a.m., he saw the rear window of the Jeep open. Boudreaux said he saw the barrel of a gun pointed at him, and the gun was fired. The bullet struck the door frame on the front driver's side of Boudreaux's Tesla. A zombie mobile. Funny. When Boudreaux drove away, the Jeep followed him briefly. Can y'all imagine? Somebody, that sucker just like shot at you, and then you're trying to haul ass and run for your life, and then he's behind you. The Jeep followed him briefly before leaving the neighborhood. As Cox drove away, he called his brother-in-law, Chad Daybell, twice on the burner phones. Police said communication between the two continued until Cox approached Green River, Utah. On the day of the shooting, surveillance video obtained by EastIdahoNews.com showed Lori and Chad Daybell placing a single wheel with a tire in a self-storage plus storage unit in Rexburg that Lori Daybell had rented the day before. She still owes the bill, $53. Anyways, police reports show that the night after Cox is believed to have shot Boudreaux, Lori searched the internet for, quote, man shot in Gilbert, Arizona, end quote. Then again, she searched for man shot in Gilbert, Arizona, 10/2/2019, end quote. Then it says, and, quote, ABC News, Brandon Boudreaux. She spelled Boudreaux she didn't put the O in there. So she didn't spell it right. It makes me think that that's a burner phone, because they're kind of, I think of them as those, if I don't know what they are now, but kind of like when the texting thing was fresh out, and you had to push the button like the 2-3 times or whatever to get to the C or the D. It was like Morse code. That's what makes me think burner phones, is whenever there's a lot of those kind of mistakes, and people spell love LUV, and instead of TO for 2 they put the number 2. Anyways, that's just my opinion. Okay, so it says the Jeep driven by Cox returned to Rexburg around 4:30 a.m. on October 3rd, 2019. Hours after Cox returned, he and Lori were seen on surveillance cameras removing the only wheel with the tire in the rear seat of a Jeep. What? Oh, from the storage unit. Oh, okay. I was like, they already did that, but it's a whole nother thing. Investigators spoke with Pawlowski the day after the shooting, and she denied knowing anything about it. That is what gets me, right? Investigators spoke with Melani Pawlowski, the day after the shooting of the father of her 4 children, and she denied knowing anything about it. Huh. It's interesting that they use the word denied. Not remember. She couldn't remember anything about it. That's, anyways. Reading too much into it. Okay, so she denied knowing anything about it. Police said Pawlowski was unable to explain the details of what he was doing when Cox. Police said Pawlowski was unable to explain the details of what he was doing when Cox is believed to have shot Boudreaux. Hold up. She's a she. Police said Pawlowski was unable to explain the details of what he was doing when Cox is believed to have shot Boudreaux. Anyways, Pawlowski did not want to share Cox and Lori Daybell's phone numbers. And it says it again, because he believed their phones could be traced and eavesdropped, according to police. I could have swore that was Melani, and they just didn't put she. That's how I always know. That's why I was like, what? But that's interesting. I'm going to have to go cross-reference some on other ones. Okay, and then in quotes, it says, Ian told Rexburg police and the FBI that Melanie said she would go to prison or die before turning on Lori and Chad. End quote. That's wow. The hell with that. We're almost done. Police report. After the shooting, investigators in both Arizona and Idaho learned that Pawlowski, Cox, Chad, and Lori Daybell were close. What? They were close. Pawlowski moved into the same apartment complex in Rexburg and married a man. And married a man named Ian Pawlowski. And then in quotes, it says, Ian told Rexburg police and the FBI that Melanie said she would go to prison or die. I just read that. Or die before turning on Lori and Chad. According to police, quote, that statement was not recorded, end quote. So that's just hearsay right there, right? Ian told Rexburg police and the FBI that Melanie said she would go to prison or die before turning on Lori and Chad, according to police. Then it says, quote, that statement was not recorded, end quote. As the investigation unfolded, police seized the Jeep in Rexburg. Police found not only Cox's DNA on the Jeep, but also gunshot residue around the rear window. Before the attempt to shoot Boudreaux, police learned that Lori Daybell's two children, Joshua J.J. Vallow, 7, and Tylee Ryan, 16, they got that right, were missing. Their bodies were found in June 2020, buried in Chad Daybell's backyard. Investigators also say that Chad Daybell's first wife, Tammy Daybell, was murdered in October of 2019. Chad and Lori Daybell are already charged with multiple crimes, including conspiracy to commit murder and murder in the first degree. They are in connection with the deaths of JJ, Tylee, Tammy Daybell, and Charles Vallow. Good God. Daybell's trial date is not yet scheduled. Lori's case remains. This is when she was mental health. Yeah, she was whatever. Malingering. Just kidding. Let me post that real quick. I think it would be hearsay also. Crochet and Bammy. I know. I agree with you, New Zealand Mysteries. I think we might continue into this and just really, we're going to have to dig deep. It's needed. I look away every time and I lose my spot. Comes with age, I think. Okay. And so it just goes on to say, that a mental health professional determined that Lori Daybell was not competent to stand trial and assist in her defense, but that's old news. Let's just hope she stays that way. So I don't know. It just, when I read these things, it's just different. It's different than just, going to East Idaho News and listening to their report. Now, I think they're both important, but for me, it's like I've printed so many things out that I get a lot more from it. It's like I comprehend it more. I see something that I didn't see before, which is always the case, in my opinion, with all this stuff. So anyways, I really do appreciate you guys being here. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and I'll say goodbye, so long, farewell, and all that. And I'll just kind of let this play until, I just kind of want to hear, I'll let it play until I don't. But anyways, I do have this posted. It's uploaded to my channel. I know I need to categorize my videos a lot better. I was a mad woman in the beginning of this, so I was just blowing and going. And there's that. But anyway, so I thank y'all so much for being here. I'm tired. You can tell I'm so sleepy. I got to meet my 3-year-old brother for the first time today, y'all. That's weird, huh? It's weird and it's neat, and you know, my dad's still doing the thing. So that's where we were. We were outside. I don't go outside, and I went outside and I sweat. But anyways, thank y'all for being here. If y'all think of anything that that we need to remember, y'all can join the Patreon. I'm kind of new at all this stuff, and my moderators, y'all have been so great. Thank you so much. Oh my God, y'all are awesome. Every one of you, everyone. But if you go to Discord, we can talk. It's kind of like just text. It's a text chat, and I don't know if I can and I need to find this out rather than streaming it live or something. The Netflix thing that's coming out September 14th. I mean, I hate for people that don't have Netflix or people that live outside of the boundaries or whatever, however that works. I like to do that, but I don't like to leave it up on my channel because it just gives them a reason to come wipe me out. So I don't know if we can do that in Discord. Maybe we'll have a watch party or something. That would be fun. We can get through this together. And we can talk about it and everything. And I think that's important. Every time new information comes out, it just seems like, okay, it's at first it's a rush and then it's overwhelming, but then it's okay. It's always going to be okay. So, yeah, we'll work on that and we'll let you know. And I think we'll go ahead and stay on this trend. It may be a little dilemma mixed in there on the next live stream. So, we wing it. We wing it here. But anyways, I love you guys. I'm going to go ahead and push play on the... oh, I just stopped sharing it. Let me share again. Oh, Lord. Let's see. Oh, and I have an eye appointment on the 8th. I can't wait because I cannot see anymore from reading so many computer screens over the past 3 years. Let's see. Which one? This one? Let's see. Nope. Other one. This one. All right. StreamYard. Share. I'm so sorry. It's a long goodbye. Y'all know how we do. We do the long goodbyes. But thank y'all so much for being here. So very much. They all say my drive. They all look the damn same. We'll try. Yep, there it is. Winner. All right. And carry on.
That would be May 18th. Yeah, that's what I just said. It's really irritating because they've been jerking us around for the last 3 months saying they're going to talk to us about subpoenaing us.
Lies.
They want us to, so this is specifically to sit in front of a grand jury and share. It would be a sealed thing to share what we know with them. And so that would be May 18th. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thanks for doing that right before my family trial.
Oh, you're welcome.
And
thanks for killing kids.
we can waive our, so we have a hearing to contest it. If we want on the 12th. Correct. So we can waive that, or we can go forward with.
Yeah,
Okay.
he don't like you.
Right. Yes, kind of strange. Okay, so we're right. Trust with the whole assess tester, they've been
Wow.
trying to talk to us and they're just dragging stuff in.
Oh my gosh.
They all get also involved. So we've got the Chandler police officer here and a detective out here. No, they came to the door. I assume this is that lady that showed up 2 days in a row and then gave up after 2 attempts. So that yeah, we'll figure it out.
I think the cop's chewing some M&M, peanut M&Ms or something.
Right.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you,
Right.
Jay Hughes.
Right. Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so if we want to do the hearing, can we waive it later?
We're going to cross that before you say like people paperwork, and then I have to know what hearings they have to set the hearing,
Right.
and make sure.
Thank you, Miss Kathy.
Okay.
So do you answer in like hours? You just so you can get the kids to school.
Well, I mean, I can come back, but it's either waive the hearing and you just go ahead and cooperate and you talk to the attorney up there, right? You make travel arrangements for the 18th,
Right.
or you say I don't want to waive it, and then you have to go to this hearing.
Right. Yeah, that's the issue. We could tell them. Yeah.
And that's all really the information I have. Now, right? Know what to tell you one way or the other, but
Right.
People don't. I guess they don't usually get back to me to just say yes, I will go, or take care of it, or yes, I will.
Yeah.
So
we would tell them we're willing to cooperate.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good.
I would say maybe that's the easiest way to go is to waive the hearing and then go up to Idaho and cooperate.
Right.
Because I don't know how often judges really look at that here. They know that authorities want you up in whatever state it is. So you say, yes, I understand your concerns, but if they still need you up there, so they're most likely to probably say you need to go,
Right.
But I mean, that's up to you guys. We'll just be messenger.
Just messenger. Yeah. No, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, catch you off guard or whatever the case is.
Right.
But I assume you know what's going on,
Yeah.
and why they want to talk to you.
We're fully aware. I mean, they've been in communication with our lawyer about this for
Yeah.
months, saying, hey, we want to come down and talk to them. They've been down here several times and have made no effort to talk to us. So it's just really stupid that they're now subpoenaing us, making us go up to Idaho in 2 weeks. Rearrange all of our plans to make it work for them. They've been down here. So, I'm not sorry. I'm not like. I'm not mad at you guys. I'm just like, what the hell are you guys doing? They need to get it together.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
This whole case is just been a freaking mess for us. So,
Wow. Inconvenience.
you know what? Yeah. Would you be willing to come back in like an hour so we can get this to our lawyer and just, or even maybe I can drive over and we'll come to the police department now and sign stuff for you. Or,
I guess the situation if I don't allow you to contact with you, right, then just
We're good for it. We're not gonna.
yeah. We're gonna be out. I'm gonna be home all day.
So I mean, I'm fine.
We'll be out. We've
Okay,
got
I'm fine with
a lot of
that.
other things
Okay,
to
yeah,
go.
let's just get it sold to our lawyer real quick, go over, make sure everything's all good.
Do they want to give both copies to them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then the other, this is just a waiver form. So if you waive at a hearing, then
Do
you
you
sign
want
it, that's all.
Yeah, you wanna leave that with us too, and so, if we just, maybe swing back by and if we decide we wanna just wait, we'll have it ready for you, or we can.
It's just a signature.
Oh, that's all. That's fine.
It's not like
I have
taxes.
copies of it, so,
Okay, that's fine.
and that's all that is, so,
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty much all, this is all just copies from the judge, kind of when the judge decides that's what he's gonna do, and then he signs off.
Sure.
So,
Alright,
yeah, I can stop back by it, that's,
yeah, that's fine, let's do that, that works, yeah.
if I'm not able to make contact with you, then I'm just gonna have to assume that
That's fine,
you're, not waiving the hearing, and then you have to go to the hearing.
That's not a problem.
Right, and then if you don't go to the hearing,
If you can't make contact,
yeah, problems, right, so.
yeah, no
We're
worries.
good. It's just a bad time right now.
Yeah, it's not that we're not willing to do it,
Yeah.
it's just the way we're handling it, it's kind of weird to us. So we just wanna make sure that we're.
But just so you know, like, obviously, this is happening, and it's not
Right.
gonna go away.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's up to you.
I'm trying out there for my family trial that weekend anyway, so I'll be in Idaho, it's not.
That makes it easier.
Yeah,
So, okay, I'll let you know, and I'll come back to you now.
okay, sounds good, I appreciate it, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Porta potties and plumbers. Bye, y'all. Love you guys. Thank you so much for the sweet comments. Y'all rock. I'll see you guys next time. Love always wins.